Summary of Why Nations Fail by Daron Acemoglu and James A. Robinson. Dynamic visuals of different nations across history. Ancient civilizations to modern cities. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the most thought-provoking books on economics and politics. Why Nations Fail by Daron Acemoglu and James A. Robinson. This book tackles one of the biggest questions in history. Why do some nations thrive while others fail? Stay tuned as we uncover the key ideas and insights from this groundbreaking work. The core idea. A world map slowly fills in with successful and failed nations marked in different colors. At the heart of Why Nations Fail lies one main concept: institutions. Acemoglu and Robinson argue that it's not geography, culture, or even natural resources that determine a nation's success. Instead, it's the political and economic institutions a country builds. Success = inclusive institutions. Failure = extractive institutions. Nations with inclusive institutions, where power is distributed and individuals can participate freely in economic activity, tend to prosper. On the flip side, nations with extractive institutions, where power is concentrated in the hands of a few and resources are exploited by elites, are more likely to fail. Key concepts. To break this down further, let's look at some key ideas from the book. Visual representation of institutions changing over time. Rulers and citizens interacting. 1. Inclusive versus extractive institutions. Inclusive institutions create incentives for innovation and entrepreneurship. They empower citizens, enforce property rights, and promote education. Examples: the US, the UK, and South Korea. On the other hand, extractive institutions are designed to extract wealth from the majority to benefit a small elite. Think of nations like North Korea or colonial regimes. These institutions stifle innovation and keep power in the hands of a few. 2. Critical junctures. Historical turning points such as the Glorious Revolution or the Industrial Revolution, highlighted with images. Another concept introduced in the book is critical junctures. These are moments in history when countries face a choice that could lead them to adopt inclusive or extractive institutions. The decisions made during these junctures often determine the future trajectory of a nation. 3. Creative destruction. Rapid technological change and societal shifts, illustrating both progress and conflict. Then there's the idea of creative destruction. This refers to the process where old industries or institutions are replaced by new innovative ones. Inclusive institutions tend to embrace creative destruction, while extractive ones resist it to protect the elites in power. Historical examples. Side-by-side comparison of two different nations, South Korea and North Korea. To truly understand these concepts, let's take a look at some real-world examples. South Korea versus North Korea. Both nations started from the same place after World War II. But while South Korea adopted inclusive institutions and became one of the world's leading economies, North Korea built extractive institutions that have led to stagnation and poverty. The US versus colonial Latin America. The US developed inclusive institutions early on, allowing it to grow rapidly. Meanwhile, many Latin American nations were built on extractive institutions during colonization, which created massive inequality and hindered long-term development. Why do nations fail? Animation of a failing economy, poverty, and political instability. So why do nations fail? The authors argue that it's due to the persistence of extractive institutions, often entrenched by elites who resist change. These institutions stifle innovation, limit education, and prevent the majority of people from participating in the economy. Even when revolutions or political changes occur, without the establishment of inclusive institutions, the cycle of failure continues. The book gives examples of how even countries that initially appeared on a path to success faltered due to extractive political and economic systems. Lessons for the future. A hopeful image of emerging nations, new leaders, and economic growth. The big takeaway from Why Nations Fail is that the fate of a nation isn't set in stone. Institutions can change, but it requires leadership, innovation, and often a critical juncture. Countries that build inclusive institutions are much more likely to thrive in the long term. Inclusive institutions = opportunity, growth, stability. A compilation of successful and failed nations with a closing montage of people, institutions, and progress. And that's the core of Why Nations Fail. It's a powerful reminder that the choices we make in building our institutions have long-lasting impacts on the success or failure of nations. If you enjoyed this summary, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another deep dive into great books like this one. Let us know in the comments what book you want us to cover next.